the runner-up in the Middle East Championship, James Pull. It will be James Pull that starts, and of course the races have mandatory pit stops just to make the points. They are all the same car, but we have different classes based on the ability and experience and success of drivers. So we've got Pro, Pro-Am, Am, and the Lamborghini Cup for the real gentleman racers. It's a 50-minute race, pit window between 20 and 30. If you're on your own, there aren't that many soloists these days, only a couple, and if you're on your own, you have to make a pit stop of 63 seconds, and pit in to pit out is 88. If you are a two-driver entry, then 60 seconds and 85 line to line is the time. Why is it different? Well, if you're on your own, you're deemed to have an advantage because you know what the track conditions are like and you can be up to speed that little bit quicker when you return to the circuit, unlike the fresh driver into a two-driver entry. So just to try and balance things, and it's not just in this, it's in all the Lamborghini Super Trofeos, then you have that difference in the pit stop times. Up front then, for FFF Racing Team, the two Roger Dubois-backed cars coming up towards turn 14. Archer Janos in the pole car, James Pull alongside. Then on the second row of the grid, it's going to be Aman Ibrahim, the Indian driver, and Takeshi Matsumoto lining up alongside for the Hujus Racing Team. On the third row, Richard Muscat, who made his name in Porsches, but now, in addition to his efforts in the Super 2 series in Australian supercars, comes to Lamborghinis, and he will, alongside the Leipzig car, have the Gamma Racing entry of Evan Chen. So the field starts to form up into this 2x2 Noah's Ark formation, heading now up towards turn 15, and we are set to go racing then for the opening round of Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia, one of the 4 regional championships. There's the Middle East series, which runs in the early part of the year. That's already been won by Jack Bartholomew. You've got Europe, North America, plus Asia, and then they go head-to-head in the World Finals at Vallelunga in November. Through the turn 15 left-hander, they will come up towards the timing line, assuming the race director is happy with everyone's position. He will put the lights to green and we will go racing, and James Pull from the outside of the front row of the grid, a little bit behind as the lights go to green, and a good start made by Richard Muscat in the Wilson security car that dives to the inside line. He's up and past Aman Ibrahim already as they dive down towards turn 1. Richard Muscat then can try and outbrake as many as he dares, but the leader is going to be Archer Janos as they dive into turn 1, and almost 3 wide for second place. James Pull is the one that gets that rather elbowed out wide, and Richard Muscat from the third row up into second place. A great start, that. Downhill they come for the first time of asking then. Where did James Pull fall to in all of that? He's down in 4th, possibly even lower, but the leader is Archer Janos then, trying to build the advantage early on as they climb uphill. Muscat runs second, and James Pull on the outside line has fallen back in the pack. Aman Ibrahim likewise, but the best start of all, you could argue. Richard Muscat away like a stab rat from that, wasn't he? Up the inside line, charged past the traffic, and as they come now through turn 5 on this opening lap, look at the way the top 2 just edging away slightly. 5th is where you find Pull in the second of the FFF Racing Team cars. You've got therefore Matsumoto and also Ibrahim running in 3rd and 4th places through turns 7 and 8 for the first time. Archer Janos now trying to edge away. Richard Muscat going after him in the car that he shares with Ben Gersakowski, the Leipzig Motorsport car, one of the more experienced Lamborghini teams, Leipzig Motorsport. And as they come through turn 9, and then the uphill climb here through turn 10, the top 2 edging away. In 4th place, it is Takeshi Matsumoto then, heading the Pro-Am category at the moment as the cars accelerate downhill for the first time. It's a long lap, 5.5 kilometres, 15 corners long this lap as well. And some very intriguing liveries, including there you see Prabhakan Kumar in the number 98 Iletso Motorsport car running near the back of the pack. He's one of the Pro-Am drivers, sharing with the Monegasque Cedric Sprazzo-Early. The leaders then accelerate not over the line. This is the penultimate straight up towards turn 15, but it's a support race start area and pit lane area. So the leading car, that of Archer Janos, it is, leading the pack as they come now up towards the left-hander at turn 15. Past the pits they come, so it is Archer Janos in the lead. Behind him, Muscat runs second. 3rd is Aman Ibrahim. In 4th is Matsumoto. James Pull 5th. Sarun Ziratharanakul is in 6th, ahead of Evan Chen. Mikko Eskelinen is 7th. Andrew Haryanto in 8th. Is in 9th place, and then 10th at the moment, number 69, which is Han Hoi Lin in the Top Speed Racing Team car. Race leaders then turning their way up towards turn 4 on this second lap of the race. And now, as the leader gets away, so the gap is coming down between second and third. Let's see whether that's going to change on this lap and whether or not the race leader can escape even further as the battle rages on behind. 1.2 seconds was the margin at the end of the opening lap between the top two. And now look, Richard Muscat, despite that good start, is falling away slightly into the clutches of Arman Ibrahim. Down they come towards turn 9. Hard on the brakes, and then uphill. 57 there you can see is Sarun Siratharanakul, and he has got Evan Chen tucked up behind him. Siratharanakul runs in AM, he's the class leader. Evan Chen's at a Pro-Am, so a good little scrap developing there. And it's interesting as well, you take the pace of different drivers out of the different classes. Up front though, Artur Janos getting away. Janos, former GP3 racer before he came into Lamborghini's last season, and going great guns here as he comes now up through the right-hander of turn 14. Pace quickening now on the run up towards the turn 15 hairpin. He's raced in Ferraris in the past as well in GT racing, but it's in Lamborghinis of late that he's really concentrated and he's made his name. Richard Muscat's second spot. The Wilson security car comes out of turn 15. Now James Poole from second on the grid has got a bit of work to do here to get back into the mix, hasn't he? There over the line goes the leader, Muscat second, third is Arman Ibrahim, fourth in the green car in the background is Matsumoto, James Poole fifth, and then sixth and seventh together across the line. Sarun Siratharanakul is just ahead of Evan Chen, then Andrew Haryanto, the soloist, who's just got himself up past Mikko Eskelinen, the Finn racer and rally driver, down to ninth. So there, 38, Matsumoto closing back up now onto the tail of Ibrahim. He's taking James Poole with him. James born in Malaysia, and a kind of home round therefore in this championship as it comes now hill towards turn 4. But Artur Janos escaping up the road up front, looking very strong indeed at the moment. Here they turn, and there hard on the brakes is Evan Chen, number 68. That car run by the Gamma Racing squad. Evan Chen new to the championship this season, acquitting himself very nicely here as he comes out of that long, fast left-hander of turn 5. Evan Chen was the Pro-Am champion last year, in fact, in Carrera Cup Asia. So no stranger to one-mate racing, although of course these are different in as much as they're longer, and there's the pit stop element, and there's the co-driver element. You don't have to have a co-driver, but it splits the costs. It also reduces your fatigue in the car. Andrew Haryanto is one of the soloists, Gabriele Moroni is another. Uphill comes this fight then, which is for 6th overall. Am car ahead of Pro-Am car here, as Evan Chen looks for a way by. The leaders plunge downhill towards turn 12, with Artur Janos leading the way at the moment. Here they come, and Janos now starts to edge away as the field accelerates up towards turn 15. So Artur Janos it is by 1.8 seconds starting this lap ahead of Richard Muscat. Now he in turn has kind of stabilised that gap over Arman Ibrahim. All of these cars, remember, 5.2 litres, 620 horsepower, 6-speed sequential gearboxes, they're all on Pirelli tyres, points for the top 10, and unlike the road car, Huracan, 2-wheel drive, so if you find yourself off the road, you can't dig yourself out quite as readily. Past the pits they come, and the lead gap 2.4 seconds, that time around 7 tenths gained by Artur Janos over Richard Muscat. Through turn 1 they go, and now the drop downhill is there again. Evan Chen having a look to the inside line to try to get himself up past Sarun Siratharanakul, but he can't do it. Siratharanakul does go wide out of turn 1. Is that going to give Evan Chen a chance to challenge as they come downhill? Doesn't look like it, as there the lead gap continues to extend. Janos 2.4 seconds ahead now. Now what about Muscat to Ibrahim? Last time Ibrahim lapped a little bit, sorry, did a personal best, but not as quick as the car ahead, so that gap has also stabilised for the moment. Previous race on track here was the opening round of Blancpain GT Series Asia, the bulk of which was led by an FFF racing team Lamborghini, and it lost out in the last 6 minutes. So FFF racing team has been denied a win. Right now it's looking in the box seat because Artur Janos is getting away all the time here from Andrea Amici. Richard Muscat second. Andrea Amici will do the second stint in the car, and you've got Arman Ibrahim in third spot. Uphill goes the leader. And where's the next battle going to come from? It's still really to see whether Aman Ibrahim can get onto terms with Richard Muscat, do anything about bringing down that gap, I reckon. But out on his own is Arturo Llanos. Downhill he comes. So the leading car into now turn 14. There in the meantime, lower down the order is 55. That at the back of the pack, in fact, being Daisuke Matsunaga, the Japanese driver for FPC Racing, looking for a way past Prabhakaran Kumar, who is in his first race, in fact. Cedric Sprezioli will take over that car and will make it fly. But for the moment, Kumar is still learning about the demands of Lamborghini racing in a new circuit and what it's like to race in these temperatures as well. The race leader has just gone over the timing line. Arturo Llanos having done the fastest lap of the race already. Richard Muscat running in second spot. And here's the fight not to be last with the spectacular livery adorning Prabhakaran Kumar's car. Now he's in Pro-Am, running fourth in class, and then behind him is Daisuke Matsunaga, who is in Am and running fourth in that category. So Matsunaga on the tail, but really not only does he want an overall place, he wants to get up and pass so he can get onto the tail of his class rivals. 4 laps in the book, leader Llanos 2.9 seconds ahead of anybody else now. Leaders come over the timing line with the margin extending all the while between the top two, and there, hard on the brakes, down towards turn 1. Number 44 is from the Lamborghini Cup, the car of Paul Wong, shared by Clement Lee. It's the new 852 Challengers team, and Paul Wong, who started a season ago in the Ferrari Challenge, had an outing in the World Touring Car races at Macau last year, and now coming to a new championship, 1 or 2 new circuits as well. Climbs the hill up towards the right at turn 4. He is in 11th place at the moment in a very distinctive gold car. And he's being chased by Gabriele Moroni, as there in trouble is Richard Muscat, who has slowed right down coming out of turn 8. The car, I think he's like he's had to do a sort of control alt delete reset, because the wiper comes on as though all the electrics suddenly start again. But he's not yet going at a proper pace, is he? So Richard Muscat from second place limps along up towards turn 9. And if that car gets as far as the pit lane, I fear that's where it's going to stay. Oh, it's a puncture, look at the front left. Richard Muscat, you just, as the car turned, got a glimpse of the rubber flailing slightly. So it's either a puncture or a wheel that's coming loose after a suspension breakage. Let's have a closer look. The car comes into view. Yeah, possibly not a puncture, more a suspension issue, that. But the car, as he turned, seemed that, yes, there it is again, look, the wheel's wobbling. That's a suspension breakage by the look of it. So is that curb induced, or has there been contact with another car? But he doesn't want to turn, and Richard Muscat's very definitely in limp home mode. There it is again, look, see the wheel wobbling on the left-hand side. So Richard Muscat crawls down towards turn 14 and effectively is out of the race. Even if they can get the car back in the race, he will lose potentially a lap out of all of this as he has to crawl back to the pits. In the meantime, you've got now Paul Wong versus Gabriele Moroni coming up towards the timing line. Through they come. And the other good battle in the race, Prabhakaran Kumar keeping at bay 55, Daisuke Matsunaga. This, remember, is the contest not to be last. But as they almost overlap coming out of turn 15, Matsunaga tries to get up on the outside line there as they come past the pits. Through they go together. Prabhakaran Kumar hangs onto the place, driving well here, in fact, for a novice. Down towards turn 1 they go, hard on the brakes, and then plunge downhill. And Muscat is doing his best to get home, but this is a long, long limp, isn't it? As the car drags itself back to the pit lane. That long time mark in the background being laid by him, yes, because the wheel doesn't want to turn, so he's kind of pushing the tyre along the ground. So, how has that all happened? How has it all come loose? He's going to go, well, he has got a lap down, hasn't he now? Here's the leading car. Arturo Llanos about to make his way up towards the left-hander at turn 15, and then towards the timing line. So Richard Muscat crawling towards the pits. Arturo Llanos up towards the timing line. The tall Polish driver leads the way. Through he goes. And then a long, long gap before Aman Ibrahim arrives in second spot. And there, down the pit lane, comes number 2. Richard Muscat slowly brings the car back. He deserves a round of applause for having got it back, actually, rather than first of all abandoning it, or secondly going so quickly that he did more damage. That's going to put Ibrahim second and Matsumoto third, up to fourth James Pull. It's still intriguing that James hasn't really been able to fight back. He was run out wide, remember, at the start, but hasn't really been able to, as yet at least, claw back the lost time. He's 11 seconds away from his teammate, who here leads the race. So, Richard Muscat has made it in. They've got a new wheel. And what they want to do first of all is have a look at what damage has been done and how it's happened. Can't believe it was contact with another car. It doesn't look as though it has been. There aren't any more witness marks on the side. So if it's a breakage, then that's the end of the race, isn't it? Team appears underneath. Lippert Motorsport runs that car. Normally one of the best teams within Lamborghini racing. So that rather changes the order up front. Janos, Ibrahim, Matsumoto being the top 3. There towards the timing line, having lost a place, Prabhakaran Kumar. Up and past him finally has gone Daisuke Matsunaga. And a very technical approach offered up by Lippert Motorsport. Give it a kick. And that, I think, is confirming the end for the Wilson-backed Lippert car. Big disappointment. So Richard Muscat and Ben Gersikovsky, the 2 Aussies, out of the race. They will battle back tomorrow. The grid already, of course, set for that from a standalone qualifying session. 27 you're looking at is Aman Ibrahim in second place. Now he shares with Anindith Reddy, who has done limited racing. Rather of Tarun Reddy, we've seen in single-seaters in the UK. As up now towards the hairpin comes Aman Ibrahim, who's a regular in the championship last season. Experienced driver, in fact. Over the timing line he comes. Still chasing behind him is Takeshi Matsumoto, and then in fourth place James Pull. Over the line they go. Who is the quicker of the lot? Pull closing fractionally onto Matsumoto, but only by a couple of tenths. Still got work to do there for to get really into the mix. As downhill now will come number 27 then, Aman Ibrahim. 38 downhill, which is Takeshi Matsumoto. He's having an impressive run here, in fact. Matsumoto from the Ojos Racing team. Raced in the Student Formula Junior Championship, which he won in 07. He's been a mainstay in the Super Taikyu ST2 and ST3 classes of late, and was a class winner in the championship last year, in fact, when he did the Fuji and the Suzuka round, but hopefully this year in for a full season. So Matsumoto going nicely. There he is. You can tell the European teams and you can tell the Asian teams, can't you? Because the liveries are far more spectacular from this part of the world, and that's one of the more distinctive colour schemes adorning anybody on the grid this weekend. Number 38, the Ojos Racing car, Takeshi Matsumoto, will give way to Toshiyuki Ochiai, multiple Lamborghini champion in the classes in Pro-Am and Am in the Asian Series, and also Carrera Cup Japan champion. So that's another strong car. What's going to be interesting is to see the pace of Andrea Amici relative to Artur Janos in the leading car, because both are quick. I can't believe that Andrea Amici will struggle with that advantage. He should be able to maintain it, if not extend. His experience of Lamborghinis goes back even further than does the race leader. So the pit window will be open in just over 3 minutes time, so 2 more laps at least for the leading cars to do. Through goes once more Artur Janos, down towards turn 1, turns the car in. The Polish driver who came into the championship last season out of karting and was the runner-up in Euro Formula 3 Open, then had a couple of seasons at GP3, and very much found a home for himself in these cars. Like many, a single-seater driver, realising that when the funds run dry, there's a career to be made, and money to be made even, in GT racing, and get paid for doing it, rather than keep paying to race in single-seaters. And like so many, it's a new career move. Another spinner, and that is, I fear, the car of Andrew Harrianto that's got all crossed up coming out of turn 15. He's down in 8th place. And Takeshi Matsumoto in third is under investigation for the start procedure. So the car in third place, just wondering whether it might end up with some sort of penalty. It's being looked at from the start. Taking a while to come up, but the third place car being investigated for a potential false start. See whether there is a penalty to be applied. The stewards will have a look at the evidence and make a call from there. So there it is, that's the third place car. Takeshi Matsumoto about to accelerate up out of turn 9. What he's not really doing as yet is anything about Aman Ibrahim. It's a stalemate second to third because both have kind of found their pace now, and it's just about a tenth different. Adding lap after lap after lap, and it all mounts up in favour of Ibrahim. The leader, Archie Llanos, then comes towards the completion of lap number 9. Pit window imminent. Quite there yet, so another minute and changed before we get to the pit window opening. Now, Mikko Eskelinen, having gained a place by dint of Andrew Haryanto's spin, has also done a personal best lap. The Finn, who has been in Lamborghini racing for a number of seasons now, concentrating initially on the European and now the Asian series, and also splitting his time between this and quite a bit of rallying that he does. Great competitor. He is up into 7th place and lapping quicker than he had on his previous lap. Here, the leading cars will come through. So you've got Llanos through, Ibrahim through, 10.4 seconds it is between them. Matsumoto still third, being investigated. James Poole 4th, and then 5th is 68 Evan Chen as the leader drops downhill. But this is Aman Ibrahim, 10.4 seconds adrift now. So the margin widening all the time between them. They're 33. That's 7th place, Mikko Eskelinen. Just talking about the fact that he was going quicker. He's on his own at the moment. Comes over the timing line. And as ever, the Mad Croc sponsored driver, the energy drink backing him, goes through and down towards turn 1 on his own at the moment. Last year, Max Ebenal was the co-driver and did a very, very good job. This year, it's the young Finn, Juuso Pohakka, who's brought into the car. We'll see how he fares very shortly when he gets behind the wheel, because this will be the first time that he's raced Lamborghinis. Pohakka. Pit window is open. So, in the case of the Pro-Ams, if the Am started, get in out early, put your Pro in for as long as possible. Some of the Am teams might split equally. They're side by side up towards the timing line this time around through 44. That is the car of Paul Wong. He has got Gabriele Moroni right behind, now alongside, and about to dive through. Moroni goes 10th on the inside line at turn 1. Can he get the car slowed down in time? He can, but only just. But he's done it. He doesn't run out too wide, thankfully, as there down the pit lane is going to be Matsunaga, is it not? So Daisuke Matsunaga to give way to Ken Urata. Pit in, 60 Ks, hit the line, slow right down. And your pit stop, if you're a double driver entry, remember, has to be 85 seconds line to line. If you're under, you'll get a time penalty to make up the shortfall. In also has come Prabhakaran Kumar to give way to the highly regarded Cedric Sbriazioli, former Maserati Trofeo world champion. He's raced a huge amount of different championships in GT Ferraris, Sbriazioli, WEC, ELMS, we've seen him in Blancpain, and he will take over the darker green car. He's ready to go. And wait, oh, yes, that was the problem. Matsunaga was in the wrong pit box, so he wasn't leaving early, he was just making sure he got to the right place. So slightly confused pit stop, he'd stopped in the wrong place, so Daisuke Matsunaga gets going again and then chugs down the pit lane to find where Ken Urata is busy waving at him. Mikko Eskelinen comes in to give way now to Juuso Pohakka, former Carter, former Formula Renault, former F4 driver. So now the order starts to shuffle a little bit because of these pit stops. There is 33 down the pit lane. Pit window open board is there for the drivers to see. The teams will be on the radio confirming that. James Poole also is into the pit lane to give way to Jack Bartholomew. Now Jack, the winner of the Middle East Championship, James the runner-up in the Middle East Championship in the winter months. It's going to be interesting now to see what Jack Bartholomew can do by way of pace. Former British Formula 4 front runner, then British GT4, and last year drove in the Middle East and the Asian Championships. So 88 coming out of turn 15, Gabriele Moroni. There is the second place car of Oman Ibrahim, dropping away all the time now, 11.7 seconds adrift. But up front, Artur Janos has just been dominant in this first stint of the race. He's a long way clear now as the FFF Racing Team car makes its way up towards turn 15. Carrying the colours of Roger Dubois watchmaker, championship supporter, as also our Platinum lubricants, Pirelli tyres, of course, on which everybody runs. And over the timing line with another lap in the book comes Artur Janos now. There's 27 Oman Ibrahim, another lap to be done. Yep, stays out. Blasts his way up towards the timing line. So 14 we started with, and one, of course, that we lost early on, Richard Muscat. So the race lead is currently on to now lap 12. Artur Janos the leader. Andrew Haryanto mentioned his spin a little while ago. He was at the very back of the grid, Haryanto, because he didn't get a time in the qualifying session. So he started at the very back and is currently running in 8th place, currently serving his pit stop. Next one for the pit lane will potentially be this car, because for Artur Janos, he's getting towards the end of his stint. Climbs out of turn 9, but very dominant display. Not a wheel wrong as he put in his opening stint of the race. Artur Janos well clear of anybody else. Comes now out of the right hand of turn 12. Threads his way downhill out of turn 13, and there Andrew Haryanto had a spin early on. Coming now out of the pit lane shortly. Quick check of the tyre pressures. And then that car back into the race. Now, Haryanto runs in the AM class, so he has got to get himself up past the Siritharanakul brothers. Their car is yet to stop for Sarun to give way to Siritharanakul. There's 63 then, out of turn 15, and another lap done for Artur Janos. Makes his way up past the pits. And it's his race, or their race now, to lose. Artur Janos and Andrea Amici. There in second spot is Oman Ibrahim. And for third, it is still, even though they were being investigated, Takeshi Matsumoto. That message line has gone off the screen. Matsumoto is in anyway, so whether anything comes to this, we'll find out as the race unfolds. But in he comes. There is Oman Ibrahim, now 14 seconds adrift. Also down the pit lane has just come 68 Evan Chen, who was closed right up onto the back of Matsumoto. No further action against number 38. So the stewards have had a look. They are content, and that's problem solved. So no penalties float unless there's anything now from the pit stops. There with the lights flashing up on its stilts book is a Richard Muscat car, as the team at Leipert already start work on that front left corner and try and get it ready for tomorrow, where the cars race local time at 20 past 10. It's an early start for them tomorrow. So for the race leader Artur Janos, he accelerates for the 13th time up towards turn number 9. Very, very strong effort being put in here. And last year, the championship rather dominated, not completely, but on more occasions, by the K. Cozzolino Afik Yazid combination. At the moment, there's nobody stepping forward to show that they've got the pace to run against Amici and Janos. And it's surprising that the sister car has fallen so far away, because in qualifying there was only 4/10 between them. I suppose if you magnify that over 12 laps, it will become a big gap. But now that Jack Bartholomew is installed behind the wheel, let's see what he can do. Down the pit road has just come 69, which is Han Hoi Lin, to give way to Bian Ho. And there is, staying out for another lap, I think, 63, Artur Janos. Comes out of turn 15 up towards the line now. 88 down the pit lane, Gabriele Moroni, who leads Lamborghini Cup, the Italian driver. So as in comes Oman Ibrahim, You see the speed differential there at pit in, where it's narrowed, it looks very fast. Wait until he gets to the line. There, nose hits the floor. And that's where you get to the 60 km/h board. You've got to be oh so careful down the pit road. Speeding infringements are often penalised, of course. So too are pit stops that are short on time. So the emphasis now is placed on the team to get this absolutely right. And Aman Ebrahim will give way to Anindith Reddy. Also down the pit road has just come Saron Sirafaranakol to give way to brother Saron. Saravut Sarafanakol for the pit stop to take place. Drivers you can see on the toes getting ready. One of whom is Andrea Amici, waiting his turn. You've got to take your hat off to Artur Janos. He has absolutely blitzed everybody in this first stint of the race. Nobody has seen him that might be able to live with him. And as he comes up towards turn 9, a long way clear, Artur Janos. Did have one win last year with Toby Sowry in China. And now turns his way up towards the completion of the lap. So the pit window is open, but not for much longer, only another minute and a bit. So really, Janot has got to be in this time. Otherwise, they'll be over the time, and then they're going to get a penalty. So Andrea Amici will be ready. Away goes the Ebrahim entry. The Sarifa Ranakul is already in the background as well, with Saravut ready to go. And where is the race leader then? Where is Janos? There he is, in this time, right at the very end of the window. Oops. Comes in rapidly, all up the grass, and the runoff on the outside. Now has to hit the brakes and get the speed limit down, because you don't want to undermine your stint with then giving your co-driver a penalty. Andrea Amici will be ready to take over. And so in comes Artur Janos. Andrea Amici will take over. Very tall Polish driver, uncoils himself and then gets back on his knees to do the belts up. The teamwork, you're not finished when you bring the car in, you're still going to help strap in your co-driver. So Andrea Amici is soon to become the race leader. Let's see when he rejoins, what the gap is over this car in second place of Aman Ebrahim. And indeed, where he fares relative to the opposition. Give you the order at the end of this next lap when all the pit stops are completed. So there, Janos walks away. And engine fires up. The car will blast away. As long as it stays ahead of this car, in the hands now of Anindith Reddy, all will be good. So 63 sits and waits. The pit stop time ticks away. Bearing in mind it was leading by about 14 seconds, there it is on its way back down the pit lane. It should not be a problem to maintain the race lead, and it's been a good, smooth pit stop. As long as they don't cross that white line, they'll be clear, well clear in the lead of the race. And then for second place, Anindith Reddy making his way up through turn 15. Taken over from Aman Ebrahim. So there it is, outlap completed by Reddy, and the gap at the end of the next lap will be the one to monitor. In third place now, you've got the Japanese entry with Toshiyuki Ochiai for Hojus Racing having taken over. Ochiai, Carrera Cup champion, Lamborghini Super Trofeo Am and Pro-Am champion. But there is Andrea Amici, well clear now of anybody else through turn 6. Hard on the brakes through 7 and 8, one arc really you can get away with, although that's where the track limits are very carefully monitored, because if you carry a bit too much speed in, you run out wide between the two corners, or at turn 8, and gain an advantage accordingly. So Artur Janos, having done the fastest lap of the race, sits and watches now as co-driver Andrea Amici leads the way. Anindith Reddy running in second place. Gap at the end of this next lap into the last 18 minutes of the race now. It's going on for third. Ochiai versus number 68 of Akihiro Asai, and the gap there is only a second. There it is. The two green cars with Akihiro Asai getting quicker and quicker, closing then up onto the tail of Toshiyuki Achiai. So it's a good scrap that's developing between the two Japanese entrants. And at the moment, you've got to say the quicker of the two looks like being the Gamma Racing Pro-Am car. Achiai Matsumoto also in Pro-Am, so it's the class lead fight. Down they come in towards turn 14. Road climbs ever so slightly uphill here. And then that long straight up towards turn 15. And drivers will tell you that at the start of a stint, you brake at the last possible point. But as the stint wears on, you find yourself braking earlier and earlier because the brakes inevitably start to get a bit more tired and you need that extra space. And they're almost a wobble under braking from Toshiyuki Achiai as he brakes hard for the corner. In 5th place is the other one to watch in all of this, Jack Bartholomew. What can he do in terms of bringing down the gap to the cars ahead of him? Let's see what the gap is. It was 11 tenths. It's a second and a half now. There he is in the background. So Jack Bartholomew coming here with a big reputation, British driver but Middle East champion at the start of the season. Can he catch this battle ahead? Ideally, the answer should be yes, because they really should hold themselves up by squabbling, and that should let Bartholomew pull up onto the tail. 16 minutes are on the clock still as they come downhill. So we're on lap 16. Andrea Amici leads the way, 23.4 seconds to the good now. Then second and third are closing as well, because Anindith Reddy, new to the cars, is being caught by Achiai, who is taking Asai and Bartholomew with him. So we could have quite a big shuffle before the end. Second, third, fourth and fifth, in fact. It's almost like a handicap race now. You've got the slower driver being caught by the quicker ones, and there are quite a few quicker drivers now hunting him down. Andrea Amici, however, who's had a fairly leisurely first 30 minutes just watching, has now got 20 more minutes, or a 20-minute stint to finish, and he's well clear. A good first stint by Arturo Llanos has put him up front. And cars now accelerate their way towards turn 15 with 15 more minutes of the race to go. So through comes 63, race leading car, Andrea Amici behind the wheel of it. And as Amici goes through, he is, let's see what the margin is over the opposition. We wait for Anindith Reddy and wait and wait and wait. And Reddy will come to the timing line shortly, bringing with him this battle pack for third, Achiai, Asai and Bartholomew. The smoke was that out of the back of Achiai's car. Now, was the car lent and it was tyre smoke, or was that mechanical? Keep an eye to it as they come over the timing line. So Anindith Reddy 3.4 seconds ahead, and actually last time he pulled away from Achiai. Down towards turn 1 they go, through the hairpin. And the one that's getting all toey in this is in 68, Akihiro Asai. He wants to find a way up and pass, and he goes a bit deep into turn 2 as they drop downhill here. Climb up the hill, and then hard on the brakes for turn 4. And a challenge made on the inside line. Asai made his move, but Achiai couldn't get the car slowed quite in the right time. He ran a bit wide, but he hangs on to it, so Achiai hangs on to the pace. And actually, out of all of that, Akihiro Asai has delayed himself. So as they came through turn 4, it looked like it was the move of the race from Asai, but Achiai fends him off and also pulls out the gap. So a move that doesn't work, often the heavy braking needed to get out of it, compromises you, and now Jack Bartholomew comes into the mix as well in 5th place. So there's Anindith Reddy out of shot. Behind him, in the darker green, almost turquoise car, it is Toshiyuki Achiai. Behind him, Akihiro Asai, and then the black car from the front row, remember, Jack Bartholomew now back into the equation. Can he get onto the podium here? He's got 13 minutes to go as they come over the brow. Downhill once more, a little bit wide over the curb there goes Achiai. But after, what, 5 seasons of Lamborghini racing, he knows the discipline, even though it's this new car for this year, the Super Trofeo Evo, the championship you can trace back to the days of the Diablo, then the Gallardo, more recently, and then for the Huracan. So the leader through, Andrea Amici, he's very nearly into race 2, so far ahead is he. it's the length of the pit straight and then some before Anindith Reddy comes into view. Anindith Konda Reddy, to give him his full title, is 24.6 seconds back. Third still is Otchai, just ahead of Asai, just ahead of Bartholomew. There in the traffic is Anindith Reddy, trying to lap Gabriele Moroni at turn 1, and he does get through. Moroni doesn't give him huge amounts of space, but job done. And let's see whether that compromises the second place car relative to the chasing pack for third. His last lap was a 2:07. They were in the 8, so actually he's getting away again. They are delaying themselves by squabbling. 12 more minutes are on the clock as uphill they climb. Through the traffic goes Anindith Reddy, putting a lap on Andrew Haryanto's car. Classes, pro very much about Andrea Amici and Arthur Llanos. Pro-Am, it's still the fight for third overall as well. Otchai versus Asai. In Am, the Staritha Ranacles hold sway from Haryanto. And in Lamborghini Cup, it's number 44, the gold Paul Wong Clement Lee entry. Clement Lee, who raced in China GT last year, he's the man at the wheel at the moment. And he is currently second in Lamborghini Cup. Goes through. That is Staritha Ranacul, leading the AM category by nearly 20 seconds over Andrew Haryanto now. Last year, Andrew was Mr. Ironman because he did all of these races in the championship on his own and all of Blancpain GT Series Asia, often on his own, over the course of the same weekend. So it was 4 races he was doing, sometimes without a co-driver. This year he's turned his back on Blancpain GT Series Asia. He won his class in the championship last season, but concentrating on Lamborghinis this year. Andrew, the brother of former Grand Prix racer Rio Haryanto, and he goes out of turn 7 now. More of an AM racer, but a very accomplished one. So there is the second placed AM, Andrew Haryanto, who drives for the Top Speed Racing team, which prepares cars, runs championships, organises events. Big player in Asian motorsport. And heading downhill now. Now how's Spreazioli getting on? Cedric Spreazioli, having taken over from Prabhakaran Kumar, is now in 9th place, and that puts him 4th in Pro-Am. He's still got work to do, but his lap time's quicker than pretty much anybody ahead of him except for the race leader. So Spreazioli, the second quickest man on the circuit, as you look at 44 there, leading Lamborghini Cup. Clement Lee. At the back of the pack at the moment, Kanorata, who has taken over from Daisuke Matsunaga, but he's falling away from Bian Ho, it would appear. So we've got the race leader, currently working lap number 19. There's 88 Gabriele Moroni, who is the second place driver in Lamborghini Cup. Now he is lapping what? Slower, much slower than Clement Lee. And there's somebody in trouble in the background. Slow car just at the back of the shot. There's Moroni, but coming out of turn 6, and he's gone wide at 7. There was a car very, very slow in the background. So let's try and piece together who it is. One car slow. Was it a problem, or was it that he was in danger of running out wide and had to stand on everything to bring the car back under control? There is the car in question, I think, which means that it is 69 that was getting it crossed up. Bian Ho, he fights back. He's just gone down a place against Ken Urata, so change for 12th place. Bian Ho now fighting back as best he can. Andrea Amici goes through, lap ticked off. Utterly dominant, this, and good reward for the FFF racing team, which has been a bit short on luck in this championship in the past, but it all looks to be coming good today. Downhill he goes out of turn 2, and he's at turn 3, almost turn 4 before anybody else has come over the line. Anindith Reddy, in fairness, doing a good job, and there, up towards the line, goes Jack Bartholomew to make his move against Otchai. We've had Akihiro Asai go 3rd and into the lead of Pro-Am, and then for 4th, Jack Bartholomew, yes, goes through on the inside line under braking for turn 1. Trying to fight back is the car of Otchai, but Toshiyuki Otchai stays 5th, and second, of course, therefore, within Pro-Am. So the significance is the lime green car up into the class lead, Akihiro Asai. There's Archer Janos watching on with the FFF Racing team in the pit lane. And he will see his car is well clear, but Jack Bartholomew's sister car that James Poole started, finally up into 4th place. Race leaders currently working lap 20 then, and we have got, what, 7 minutes or so of the race remaining. As there is the car of Yusa Pohaka going up the inside of 55 to put a lap on Ken Orata, in fairness. Pohaka is in 6th spot, having taken over from Mikko Escalanen early on. So, as the race has now just under 7 more minutes to go, you're looking at Pohaka up towards the completion of the lap. Pohaka, who started off in karting before he came into 1600cc Formula Renault racing and then into Formula 4 in Spain, and also the North European Zone, the Estonian-Russian Championship. 44, meantime, leading the Lamborghini Cup. That is Clement Lee. 18 is Andrew Harrianto, falling further away, sad to say, in AM. And Andrea Amici puts 20 laps in the book now, with 6 minutes and a bit still on the clock, which is, what, 3 more laps, give or take. There on his own is Cedric Sprazzioli, who is lapping in the 2:07s. He is the 2nd fastest man on the circuit at the moment. It's pretty impressive. Yes, it comes well regarded from Ferraris and Maseratis, but even so, Cedric Sprazzioli playing very strongly indeed. Pit lane, the Team Wakayama engineers look on. There is 98. So Sprazzioli pushing. This car that Prabhakaran Kumar was driving in the opening stint from 12th on the grid. Cedric Sprazzioli moving into Lamborghini racing this season. It's not much he's not raced, the former Maserati champion, but Ferraris, he has been busy in multiple long-distance championships in recent seasons. Over the timing line, there is the number 69 entry of Bian Ho. Took over from Han Hoi Lin. And Gabriele Moroni there chases on behind Justo Pohaka, but they're on different laps, so it's not a battle for position, only for pride. As Jack Bartholomew hunts down now Akihiro Asai. Can he get 3rd place away? He's got 5 minutes in which to do it. In theory, he should be able, because he was quicker in qualifying. There's the leader still, Andrea Amici, on his own. Turning his way through. And now the run up towards the left-hander at turn 15. But he is so far up the road at the moment. This is looking very impressive indeed. Not only for this race, but tomorrow as well. The opposition will have a bit of head-scratching overnight to try to work out what on earth they can do to stop them. So for tomorrow's race, it would be Ben Gertakowski starting from pole, and Amici, oddly, only 5th quickest in his qualifying session. So it's going to be interesting tomorrow to see, from a completely different grid, how this car fares. And the drivers, perhaps therefore, with a little bit more optimism overnight. All race long, by the way, the driver ID system has been offering random numbers and random names for the leading car. Apparently it's their driver ID switch that was broken, so the timekeepers tell us. So it's about the only thing that hasn't gone their way in this race. Broken switch inside the car, but you know it's Andrea Amici at the wheel, because we saw Archer Janos unfold himself from within, and we've seen him in the pit garage watching on. And Indy Thready has done a very good job in 2nd place. Limited experience, but actually, rather than be caught by the pack behind, he's managed to maintain the pace and has hung on to 2nd spot. Asai is keeping at bay Jack Bartholomew as best he can. It's 4 tenths between the two of them. That could yet change before the very end, though, as they're really pushing Cedric Sprazzioli way wide up the curb. The car draws attention to itself by its colour, but when you put Sprazzioli behind the wheel, it kind of wakes up. It becomes a different beast altogether. And he is going after Harrianto, but he's not going to catch him. He's a minute behind, give or take. So some of the gaps, very large ones indeed. 27 and Indy Thready, 3 seconds up the road against Asai. Looking very strong indeed here. And then what have we got for 4th place? Jack Bartholomew still hunting down Asai, but clear of Ochiai behind him. So the race leader is going to get 2 more laps out of this, potentially. Let's see, it's going to be touch and go, but there should be just time for 2 more laps. It's 2.5 minutes on the clock, and 2 minutes 6 for a flying lap. It shouldn't take too much time to get to the timing beam. So he will come across the line with, let's see how long to go. 2 minutes and 15 for a 2 minute 6 lap, so 2 more. He could back right off, he's got so much in hand. The team could tell him to just make this the last lap and crawl around. He's got a huge gap over anybody else, but Andrea Amici, who has gone a long time between wins in this championship, wants a victory. Cedric Sprazzioli still pushing on. And Sprazzioli is down in 9th place as there. The race leader pounds downhill for the penultimate time, unless somebody gives him a real shout over the radio to say back off, back off. And Indith Reddy, 31 seconds back, so over half a minute between the top 2. Third still at Asahi, and Bartholomew is closer again, 3/10 back now, but he hasn't been able to make the move as yet. So on lap 23, race leader comes through turn 7 and 8, 63 it is. Andrea Amici behind the wheel of a car that has never been headed in this race. It's scarpered early on and has looked mighty indeed. Up towards the turn 9 climb comes Amici. And with under a minute to go, as I say, there is time for 1 more lap given the pace in the car.
But David, can you say it again? What were you looking for?
So there, race leader down towards turn 14. And as I say, he could crawl to the end from here, but Andrea Amici is a racer, he's a fighter, and he will push, 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 and therefore be able to squeeze 1 more lap out of the race. Out to turn 15, and the last lap board is going to be ready for him this time, because for about the sake of 10 seconds or so through, he will get on to 1 more lap. Let's see, over the timing line now, and that was with 6 seconds. So once more around, he will go. Flag goes out the first time the leader crosses the line after the 50 minutes are up. They're up now, but we've got to wait for the leader to come back around. As I say, had it been a slower lap by 6 seconds, he would have taken the flag. As there, battles are still raging on, including 68, which is the hard-charging Asai. Behind him is Jack Bartholomew. Now, Bartholomew is somebody that did want the extra laps. He's got his wish. Over the timing line they come, nose to tail for 3rd place. The gap between the 2 of them is half a second as they go down to turn 1. And Jack Bartholomew is still not really close enough to make the move there on the inside line. He's trying to force a mistake, really, out of Akihiro Asai, but as yet, it's not happening for him. And Asai, having forced his way up into 3rd, and of course leading in Pro-Am, is determined not to be denied in all of this. Downhill he goes then for the last time. Up towards turn 4, hard on the brakes. Jack Bartholomew tries to close up there, see if he can do anything about the 3rd place car of Asai, the Gamma Racing entry, but it's going to be a 1-4 seemingly for the FFF Racing team. James Poole started, Jack Bartholomew finishes in 4th place 1, but after a great opening stint by Arturo Llanos, Andrea Amici will bring it home. He plunges downhill up towards turn 14. Look at all the rubber junked to the side of the road after a busy day of single-seaters and of GT cars and touring cars, the local touring cars around here, and even some very, very heavy mid-afternoon rain. Hasn't washed it all away. So up towards the checkered flag this time will come Andrea Amici, and Arturo Llanos and Andrea Amici can celebrate in silence. So too can the FFF Racing team. Sean Fu-Song Yang's team as he comes now up towards the timing line. Andrea Amici and Arturo Llanos win the opening round of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia. Across the line comes number 63 for the delighted FFF Racing team in the background. Cedric Sprazzioli will come through for 9th place and 4th in Pro-Am. and await and await and await the class positions to fall. 27 it should be for second in pro, which will be Anindith Kondler ready. There, to the timing line, comes the Indian entry of Reddy and Aman Ibrahim, and third, and a win in Pro-Am goes the way of 68, Evan Chen and Akihiro Asai. So the third of the pros, Jack Bartholomew and James Poole. Pro-Am won by Ochai and Asai, by Chen and Asai, I should say. Second, Toshiyuki Ochai and Takeshi Matsumoto, and the third Pro-Am, Mikko Eskelinen and Yuso Kahaka. And then for the AMs, it's the Rifaranakul brothers from Andrew Haryanto, and then Ken Orata and Daisuke Matsunaga. Lamborghini Cup is going to be a first time out victory for Paul Wong and Clement Lee, ahead of Gabriele Moroni, and just those two starters, isn't it? Just those two within the Lamborghini Cup as the field pours over the line. Through goes Suri Faranakul, Andrew Haryanto closing towards the end, brought the gap down markedly on that last lap, so the gap was almost down to a challenging position for Andrew Haryanto, but it was not quite to be, as Andrea Amici and Arturo Llanos celebrate honours then in the first Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia round of the season, and Evan Chen and Akihiro Asai celebrate a Pro-Am victory. But there, Andrea Amici blitz the opposition, and a job very well done indeed. So the drivers make their way back into the pit lane, go to the very outside of the road now to try and get some pickup on the tyres, to make sure the weight of the car is as heavy as it can be when they get to the technical checks. Now the seasoned pros, they know exactly where to put the car, how to do these in-laps. And Andrea Amici and Arturo Llanos have laid down a marker, but it'll be interesting to know overnight what the problem was for the Richard Muscat and Ben Gosakowski car that will start tomorrow on pole position, thanks to Ben's time in the second qualifying session. So, to the multitudinous podium the drivers will go. Andrea Amici hand out of the window. And now at a slower speed, I feel much hotter inside that car, although the little window is open. Coming in is not coming in as quickly, and very hot air. It's been a very humid day as ever, but the rain mid-afternoon, rather than getting rid of the humidity, has brought it back with a vengeance. So the drivers, certainly in the early GT race in the mid-afternoon slot here, have been really wilting in the temperatures, and often that's one of the cases why the AMs have varying laps, varying pace, because the temperatures take their toll. So into Parc Ferme comes the car of Anindith Reddy and Aman Ibrahim there. The winning car for Parc Ferme to arrive in a moment will be Arturo Llanos and Andrea Amici, the winners of the opening Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia race of 2018. And Amici look up on the grass there to get the pickup on the tyres. Hot, sticky, rubbery tyres, plus all the detritus that's trackside, add them together. Soon sticks to the rubber. Into Parc Ferme comes then race-winning FFF Racing Team entry. The teams making their way up the pit lane to join in the celebrations. Door opens and complimenti Andrea. Andrea Amici out of the car. Arturo Llanos, a delighted co-driver there to receive him, and a good way to open their partnership with a race win. Andrea Amici, after a perfect stint, wins by just under half a minute in the end from Anindith Reddy and Aman Ibrahim. And for third place, the car of Chen and Akihiro Asai, which came good in that final part of the first stint, and certainly in the second part of the race.
They've been on lap before.
Aman Ibrahim and Anindith Reddy discuss life. But Reddy, for a novice, did a very good job there, putting himself to second spot and maintaining a good pace and not being caught, not losing places to the opposition. The car's now being given the Parc Fermé tags, which means that the mechanics can do nothing to them. If they do, they break Parc Fermé regulations, and then they're in real strife. Let's have a look at the highlights then of this opening race of Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia for 2018. As the lights went to green, it was a good start by Richard Mascat from the third row of the grid. He was on his toes, he got up the inside, and off like a robber's dog as the cars accelerated down towards turn one. He made his move for third, came second, so good was it, as James Pull on the outside line rather got elbowed out, so he lost second and he lost third, and he was on the wrong line all the way down towards turn three. Up front though, charging on to build the advantage, 63 Arturo Llanos, and once he was ahead there was just no stopping him. The gap widened and widened throughout the stint as battles raged on behind, and certainly as the stint wore on, Evan Chen was getting more and more confident. He picked his way up past the car of Siraf Arundel and then made his move into contention for third place overall. As the cars worked their way in towards the pit stop window, hanging on to second place was Aman Ebrahim, but he was dropping away from the leader. Instead, the cars of watch became that of James Pull and Jack Bartholomew as it crept into contention against the Ochiai entry just up the road ahead that had been started impressively by Takeshi Matsumoto. Battles raged on lower down the order as well. Gabriele Moroni fighting with the Paul One Clement lead car, and all of that, of course, for honours in Lamborghini Cup. Pit stop window opened, and of course, time spent in the pit lane would be crucial. Ken Arata took over from Matsunaga on track, and Indith Reddy had taken over in 27 from Aman Ebrahim, but it was third, fourth and fifth which then became the centre of attention as the gaps came down. The drivers started to push, amongst them Akihiro Asai, who went up into third, and then right at the very end up into fourth, Jack Bartholomew fighting his way right up alongside Toshiyuki Ochiai on the run down towards turn one. Ochiai had to give way, and Bartholomew went fourth. Two of them nose to tail out of the corner and then down the hill. As up front, it was all still about Andrea Amici as he led the way, and into sixth spot was coming Mikko Eskelinen and also Kohaka's car. As far as the FFF racing team was concerned, it was to be a very good day indeed, winning by just under half a minute. Andrea Amici and Arturo Llanos at the end of round one of Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia for 2018. Aman Ebrahim and Anindith Konda Reddy taking second place, a long way back, and then third going the way of Pro-Am winning car from Gamma Racing, Evan Chen and Akihiro Asai. So winners Andrea Amici and Arturo Llanos then make their way up towards the podium, which there will be four. And we will be there in a moment to welcome the drivers for the conclusion of Super Trofeo Asia round one here at Sepang. Race 2 coming up tomorrow morning, when track conditions, temperatures may be a little different. We'll see what the weather gods have in store for us. Confirmation of the results: Amici and Llanos the winners from Reddy and Ebrahim, third Asai and Chen, fourth gained the way of Bartholomew and Paul ahead of Ochiai and Matsumoto, and then in sixth spot Eskelinen and Osaka. The one retirement that we had being Richard Mascat and Ben Gersakowski, the pole car for tomorrow's second race. Podium ready then, and Pro-Am, Am and Lamborghini Cup honours to take place. Have then the trophy girls ready, and drivers will be called forward shortly, of course, with two drivers to a car and four classes. It takes a little bit of time to get everybody up to the podium, so bear with. We'll be there as soon as for the first Super Trofeo Asia podium of the season. Being announced. They'll venture out in a moment. There are lots of photographers, there are lots of teams all stood opposite, and also interesting to note that to cheer Aman Ebrahim and Anindya Reddy is Aditya Patel out of the Blancpain GT Series Asia race from earlier. We have then the winners, Andrea Amici and Archer Janos, making their way on to the top step of the podium. They'll be joined in a moment by Anindya Reddy and Ahmad Ibrahim, that they are, and differing levels of experience there. And then for third place, you've got the Pro-Am winners, Asai and Chen. Evan Chen, the Taiwanese driver, started. The Japanese driver Akihiro Asai took the second stint, and Lamborghini's R&D director Maurizio Reggiani steps forward with the trophies. So, a fine effort. Evan Chen in the spectacles, receiving the trophy. There is Anindya Reddy, newcomer to Super Trofeo, with old hand now, Ahmad Ibrahim. And then the race winners, Archer Janos and Andrea Amici. Complimenti Andrea, Italian driver, along with the pole. Archer Janos then, a pair of them on the top step, and now Pirelli hand over the winning trophy as well to the team. So well done to the pro drivers. And everybody gets together for the photographs at the end of an excellent first race, as far certainly as Andrea Amici and Archer Janos are concerned. Utterly dominant. Utterly dominant. But tomorrow, after an Amici time, 5th on the grid, so we'll see how easy it is for them to get up through the traffic, whether it's going to be a win. If it is a win, can it be as dominant as today? So it's certainly not to suggest that they're going to dominate the season, that's for sure. So well done to the winning drivers who await the champagne. There it is, being brought forward. And there's one last photograph to be snapped. If you don't want to get wet, sir, I'd run now. Oh, he's braver. He's braver than I thought. That'd be wetter than he thought, but he's brave. So, champagne sprayed, and those the top 3 overall. They'll be the Pro-Am podium in a moment, and of course it'll be Evan Chen and his co-driver Akihiro Asai for the top step there once more. They'll be back on the podium. So, super job done, you've got to say, by the FFF racing team. A busy squad, splitting efforts across the Super Trofeo as well as the Blancpain GT Series Asia, and coming through victorious in this race for an overdue win. So we shall shortly have the Pro-Am drivers up onto the podium at the end of this first race of the weekend, and we look forward to another competitive season within this championship. Trophy girls ready. This first race that we've seen, of course, in Asia for the new car, the Evo, Huracan Super Trofeo Evo, and it's certainly been a big hit. I think the drivers have enjoyed the extra speed and the extra pace that the car has. And so now up onto the podium come the winners from Pro-Am. So Evan Chen and Akihiro Asai are back, and up onto the second step come Mikko Eskelinen and Juuso Pohakka, and then we await for sorry, they are third, I should say, and second already there, aren't they? Because Takeyoshi Matsumoto and Toshiyuki Ochiai crept in unannounced as Giorgio Sana there, former Lamborghini racer, but now the man who heads Lamborghini Squadra Corsa looks on as the representatives of Roger Dubois now make their way forward with the trophies. For third, Mikko Eskelinen and his new co-driver, which for this season is Juuso Pohakka. Trophies aloft. There for second place are Takeshi Matsumoto and Toshiyuki Ochiai. And then the class winners, Evan Chen and Akihiro Asai. So, Pirelli hand over the trophy as well. The trophy girls return, ready for the group photograph. And Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia, which continues to go from strength to strength with excellent racing, with new drivers coming in season after season. And it's had a good start to 2018. And the fact, as I say, that we've got a jumbled grid for tomorrow as well. It's an intriguing race that we have in prospect. So, trophies presented, champagne to be sprayed. Two more podiums, of course, still to come. The AMs will be next. And then following them, they will be the gentlemen racers from the Lamborghini Cup. So there, the Pro-Am drivers are done. Thank you, chaps. Bye-bye, comes the call. In other words, off. You're done. And AM will be next, where that was a Category 1 by the PSC team of Sarun and Saravat Starithoranakul. Second went to Andrew Haryanto on his own, and third Ken Arata and Daisuke Matsunaga from the back of the grid. In fact, in fairness, it was Haryanto that was even further back because he didn't do a qualifying session and was right at the rear. But the last marked place was late. So the drivers should be being brought forward. Apologies for the delay. The AM category for the gentleman racer, but with a bit more experience than a complete rookie, for example. And Andrew Haryanto has been a very successful AM, probably a bit of a pro-am now, but by dint of staying on his own and not having a co-driver, he can't really be upgraded, so it's a tactical decision, this. There is Andrew Haryanto, steps out to join class winners Sarun and Saravat Starithoranakul, and there for third place, 55, Ken Arata and Daisuke Matsunaga. Ken Arata had a busy day because he was also in Bornpad GT Series Asia. It's BMW, so he's been busy. And there is Giorgio Sana. Racing goes back to the days of the Gallardo rather than the Huracan. He's been very busy running Lamborghini Squadra Corsa since. And in the old dark days, Lamborghini's motorsport was not really very well structured. It didn't really have much care and attention and love and time and personnel, but a decision to make a motorsport unit full-time, concentrate on the development of that programme and put Giorgio Sana in charge has reaped dividends, and the Super Trofeo has just blossomed in the last, 6 years or so. And small grids, and it was a bit of an old championship, but it really has come on a pace in the last few seasons, and it's a very obvious feeder category now to GT3 racing. So trophies done, and last photographs for the AM drivers about to take place. And there, the champagne is brought forward. And one or two try and run away. Oh no, you don't. But the class winners, the Starithoranicals, are taking their time about this before they get overly celebratory. And so that leaves us with one more podium, and that is for the Lamborghini Cup drivers, of which there were just two combinations, two entrants, two teams. We've also got at the moment, by the way, Lamborghini hot laps taking place at the last few podiums of the day, echoing to the sound of more Lamborghini engines, which seems like the perfect soundtrack. And as the last couple of photographs are done, the AMs will be next. And it was the car of Paul Wong and Clement Lee that was victorious, from Gabriele Moroni taking second place. So the podium is being made ready, and as soon as the drivers are called forward, we'll be just about done for the day here at Sepang, this opening race of Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia. And trophies for first and second only this time around, no third. And now that people are in the right place, so out will come the drivers. So for second in Lamborghini Cup, Gabriele Moroni, but the class winners are Paul Wong and Clement Lee. They make their way to the top step, second place, Gabriele Moroni, will make his way out to join them. And handshakes all round. The nice thing about this, even though it's a very competitive championship, is that there's a good hospitality element to it. So everybody spends time with their rivals, relationships forge. And Maurizio Reggiani is the man who steps forward to hand over the trophies to our second place driver, Gabriele Moroni, and then to the winners, who are Clement Lee and Paul Wong. They will celebrate in time-honoured fashion in a moment. The photographs will be taken. Pirelli step forward also with the trophy for the class winner. And so as the trophies are held in the air, it's the final podium for Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia Round 1 here from Sepang. Tomorrow's race will be at 10:20 in the morning. Join us for that if you can. But for now, from Sepang, from David Addison, it's bye-bye.